Brisbane.
Now, like every person with a brain and with an Australian soul, regardless of whether you were born here or flew here or were brought up by white people or black people or Islamic faith or Buddhists, any right-thinking person was disgusted by what happened in Sydney on Saturday afternoon. And there are 4 key points this Monday night that I wanted to talk about that seemingly a lot of people have already moved on from. No, we're going to hold these people to account, and we'll do it in 4 key areas in this evening's conversation. 1, don't believe this BS that people have been pushing around saying this was always meant to be a peaceful protest and it was just a few idiots at the edges that ended up turning this thing violent. Police don't have to get hit with bottles for a protest to be a violent one. We've all seen the pictures of that little kid holding up the banner, the pre-printed out banner that was handed out to at least half a dozen people that I've seen in photos and countless more when you have a look at the footage. It calls for the beheading of anyone who would dare mock the Prophet. I don't know how many protests you've ever seen in Australia where, regardless of what the issue was, people were calling for a beheading as the way of dealing with something. That is a violent thought. That means that this was not meant to be a peaceful protest. There was always at its core a fundamental, deliberate distortion of the facts, and on its edges, not its fringes, but its edges, there were people carrying those placards that were about violent thought. So it wasn't a peaceful protest. Secondly, can somebody please tell me, including the police commissioner who I've spoken to today, why were only 8 people arrested? This footage has gone all the way around the world and there is a promise of more arrests, and good luck, that'll happen soon. But even more shockingly than just 8 people being arrested for this shameful and disgusting act, 7 of the 8 people are watching this program tonight at home. They're out on bail. They're not in jail. We are talking about a violent clash with police where people had bottles thrown at their head, and only one person is behind bars tonight. The reason? Because he breached his parole from a previous infraction, not because of what he allegedly did on Saturday. The third point, why would anyone take a child to a protest? I've believed this for a long time, and it doesn't matter if it's the anti-carbon tax stuff, if it's an education rally, if it's even bringing back your damn football club. I don't understand why anyone wants to bring their child to a protest. But in this specific one, and we've all seen that one photo of a mother giving the beheading poster to her child and not looking away, pulling out her iPhone and trying to take a photo to remember it forever. Why would that person want to poison their child? Why would somebody want to instill that level of hate in somebody who's grown up in this country, who's enjoyed its freedoms, who's enjoyed its education system? And perhaps, most importantly, the fourth point, why did this happen here in the first place? Now, I understand in Yemen, in Tunisia, in Egypt, or in Libya, that there might be some people with no real access to an open media and a free press, people who would believe that the American government was responsible for a video that was mocking the Prophet Muhammad. But in Sydney, in Australia, there is no excuse for that. We have had countless conversations last week, and we showed you on this 24-hour news channel, and it's been on all the radio stations, it was in all of the newspapers, that Hillary Clinton said an American made this video, but America is disgusted by this. America, the country, did not support this. So how is it that in Australia, a modern country where those people knew that this was not the act of the American government, that they deliberately decided to turn up there on Saturday with placards pre-printed that were of violence, to confront and provoke police, in part knowing that they wouldn't be held together by the courts, while using kids to make an emotional point? Now, there will be plenty of people who in time will want to turn around and pretend that this is all about some reaction to the way that society deals with their part of the community or the way the media hypes things up. Well, that is crap. Remember how you felt on Saturday afternoon when you saw the pictures live here on Sky News. Never forget how you felt on the Sunday morning, and stay angry about this tonight. This is not on. We'll move on to the other issues as the week rolls on, but I'm going to call these people on what they did to our country, our city, and our reputation.